My name is Daniel Pope. I'm CEO at Submer. Submer is a Barcelona-based company founded in 2015, and we develop immersion cooling technology, which is essentially a technology that changes the medium around IT equipment to cool in a much more efficient way. We're here in Dubai because we have humongous organic traction with the challenge of cooling in hot environments. And so we're showcasing a product which is designed for edge. It's an edge immersion system, fully integrated cooling into it, and it's really trying to solve the challenge of running high density computing at the edge. Edge being anything, I guess, from base station and communication towers to maybe compute required by shopping malls to defense and emergency services requiring quick compute to be deployed and things like that. So this is our third GITEX event. In previous events, we were showcasing our data center technology. Same principle to cooling, and it's quite impressive when you see it for the first time because it is electronics submerged in a liquid, which we've always been taught you should never do, right? It's the wrong thing to do. So this magical proprietary fluid that we've developed is dielectric, so it's non-conductive. And by changing the medium, what you can achieve is a saving in the energy costs of a typical IT infrastructure, which would be in the range of 50–60% slash in energy costs. In this region, the most impactful, I guess, metric is definitely the energy saving. Then there's others like the reduction in footprint. So the challenge also in, let's say, data center or IT cooling is that you can never pack the racks with the systems to be fully populated, because with air, it's very hard to cool a very populated rack. So the recommendation is always don't populate it too much and so on. While as an immersion, we pack the systems with extremely dense compute and we fill in every single slot that's available. So you have to see our systems as horizontal racks, let's say. So you might think that they use up more space, but the medium rack density in UAE is around 6 kilowatts, between 4 to 6 kilowatts, while as our immersion tank can dissipate anything between 50 to 100 kilowatts. I think the first challenge we had was hardware vendors having to wrap their head around, wow, we've designed things for air forever, and this just changes that paradigm. And so the thermal engineers were just going crazy. Like everything I've been doing for the last 20, 30 years, now it's different, right?
Did they challenge it?
So at the start, there was some resistance, I would say, from the server manufacturers to say, well, why do we need to change something that's worked for the last 40 years? I think it goes to show that things have changed because we're at the Lenovo booth here in GITEX, so one of the major server manufacturers, and we work with others as well, of course, which goes to show that all the server manufacturers now have a specific roadmap and strategy around immersion cooling. You can get off-the-shelf servers that can be submerged in immersion cooling. And we're on a journey with the server manufacturers to actually produce systems that are optimized for immersion cooling. So although we're based out of Barcelona, Spain, our biggest market today is the US market. It does account for 48% of the data center industry. So we're also present in the US. We have people on the ground manufacturing everything in the US. It's probably our biggest market today. Yeah, I mean, the savings are bigger the hotter the region. And that's because just the cooling costs are bigger. So the ROI in the region is substantially better than in Iceland, for example. Here it's very easy to see return on investments in less than 12 months for just a complete refresh of the infrastructure. In 2020 has been a strange year for sure. What we've seen is we're having to do the work of the whole year in the last 4 months of the year. So the budgets are still there, it's just that people have been holding on to their projects and onto their money to the very last moment, and now it's a race against time to really get everything in place by the end of the year. That's the journey that we're still on till the end of the year, I guess. For 2021, I think we see people assuming that there's a new reality, there's a different way of doing business, there's a different way of engaging. It's an exercise that we've already been going through in 2020. I think it's one of the nicest things of COVID is that you've been able to engage with people that were usually out of reach, hard to access and hard to do business with. And now they're accessible. And it's truly, in our case, it's definitely accelerated the partnerships and the engagements.